California DMV Commercial Handbook for the CDL Section 8. The best way to learn is to listen. Section 8 is all about tank vehicles. In this short section, we'll cover how to inspect your tank vehicle, your driving your tank vehicle, and safe driving of a tank vehicle. This section has information needed to pass your CDL knowledge test for driving a tank vehicle. You should also study Sections 2, 5, and 6, and 9. A tank endorsement is required for certain vehicles that transport liquids or gas. The liquid or gas does not have to be a hazardous material. A tank endorsement is required if your vehicle needs a Class A, B, or C CDL, and you want to haul a liquid or liquid gas in a tank or tanks having an individual rating capacity of more than 119 gallons, and an aggregate rated capacity of 1,000 gallons or more, that is either permanently or temporarily attached to the vehicle or chassis. A commercial vehicle transporting any empty storage container, tank, not designed for transportation with a rated capacity of 1,000 gallons that is temporarily attached to a flatbed trailer is not a tank vehicle. Before loading, unloading, or driving a tanker, inspect the vehicle. This makes sure that the vehicle is safe to carry the liquid or gas and is safe to drive. A CLP holder with a tank endorsement is prohibited from operating a tank vehicle unless it is empty. In addition, if the tank previously contained hazardous materials, it must be purged. How to inspect your tank vehicle. Tank vehicles have special items that you need to check. Tank vehicles come in many types and sizes. You need to check the vehicle's operating manual to make sure you know how to inspect the tank vehicle. Now, what to do about leaks. On all tank vehicles, the most important item to check for is leaks. Check under and around the vehicle for signs of any leaking. Do not carry liquids or gases in a leaking tank. To do so is a crime. You will be cited and prevented from driving further. You may also be liable for the cleanup of any spill. In general, check for the following. Check the tank's body or shell for dents or leaks. Check the in-tank discharge and cutoff valves. Make sure the valves are in the correct position before loading, unloading, or moving the vehicle. Check pipes, connections, and hoses for leaks, especially around the joints. Check manhole covers and vents. Make sure the covers have gaskets and they closed correctly. Keep the vents clear so they work correctly. Check special purpose equipment. If your vehicle has any of the following equipment, make sure it works. A vapor recovery kit, grounding and bonding cables, emergency shutoff systems, built-in fire extinguisher. Never drive a tank vehicle with open valves or manhole covers. Special equipment. Check the emergency equipment required for your vehicle. Find out if the equipment you are required to carry and make sure if you have it and if it works. Tank vehicles. How to drive them. Hauling liquids in tanks require special skills because of the high center of gravity and liquid movement. See this picture. Let's talk about the high center of gravity. High center of gravity means that much of the load's weight is carried high up off the road. This makes the vehicle top-heavy and easy to roll over. Liquid tankers are especially easy to roll over. Tests have shown that tankers can turn over at the speed limits posted for curves. So take highway curves, often on-ramps, curves, below the posted speed limit. Let's talk about the danger of surge. Liquid surge results from movement of the liquid in partially filled tanks. This movement can have bad effects on handling. For example, when coming to a stop, the liquid will surge back and forth. When the wave hits the end of the tank, it tends to push the truck in the direction the wave is moving. If the truck is on a slippery surface, such as ice, the wave can shove or stop a stopped truck out into an intersection. The driver of a liquid tanker must be very familiar with handling this type of vehicle. Let's talk about bulkheads. Some liquid tanks are divided into several smaller tanks or bulkheads. When loading or unloading smaller tanks, the driver must pay attention to weight distribution. Do not put too much weight on the front or rear of the vehicle. Baffled tanks. Baffled liquid tanks have bulkheads in them with holes that let the liquid flow through. The baffles help to control the forward and backward liquid surge, or side-to-side surge can still occur, and this can cause a rollover. Let's talk about unbaffled tanks. Unbaffled liquid tanks, sometimes called smooth-bore tanks, have nothing inside to slow down the flow of liquid. Therefore, forward and backward surge is very strong. Unbaffled tanks are usually those that transport food products like milk. Sanitation regulations forbid the use of baffles because of the difficulty of cleaning the inside of the tank. Now be extremely cautious, drive slow and careful while driving a smoothbore tank, especially when starting and stopping. Outage. Outage. Never load a cargo tank totally full. Liquids expand when they warm, and you must leave room for expanding liquid. This is called outage. Since different liquids expand by different amounts, they require different amounts of outage. You must know the outage requirements when hauling liquids in bulk. Now, how much to load? Well, a full tank of dense liquid, such as some acids, they may exceed legal weight limits. And for that reason, you may often only partially fill the tank with heavy liquids. The amount of liquid to load into a tank depends on the amount of liquid will expand in the transit, the weight of the liquid, legal weight limits, the temperature of the load. Let's talk about speeding in a tank vehicle. If you are driving a tank vehicle transporting more than 500 gallons of flammable liquid at a speed faster than the applicable speed limit, or in disregard for the safety of persons or property, in addition to any other applicable penalty, for a first offense, you are subject to a fine of not less than $500, and for a second or any others after, within 2 years of a prior offense, you are subject to a fine no less than $2,000, and a suspension of up to 6 months of hazardous material cargo, tank endorsement, or both. Hours of service in a tank vehicle. The maximum driving time within a work period is 10 hours for drivers of tank vehicles with a capacity greater than 500 gallons when transporting flammable liquid. And safe driving rules. In order to drive tank vehicles safely, you must remember to follow all the safe driving rules. A few of these rules are drive smoothly, controlling the surge, curves, stopping distance, and your skids. So let's start off with talking about driving smoothly. Because of the high center of gravity and the surge of liquid, you must start, slow down, and stop very smoothly. Also make sure smooth turns and your lane changes are smooth. Now, controlling the surge. Keep a steady pressure on the brakes. Do not release the brakes too soon when coming to a stop. Brake far in advance of a stop and increase your following distance. If you must make a quick stop to avoid an accident, use controlled or stabbing braking methods. If you do not remember how to stop using these methods, please listen to the video for section number 2. Also remember that if you steer quickly while braking, your vehicle may roll over. Curves. Slow down before the curve, and then accelerate slightly through the curve. The posted speed for a curve may be too fast for a tank vehicle. Stopping distance. Keep in mind how much space you need to stop your vehicle. Remember that wet roads double the normal stopping distance, and empty tank vehicles may take even longer to stop than the full ones. Skids. Do not oversteer, accelerate, or brake. If you do, your vehicle may skid. On tank trailers, if your drive or trailer wheels begin to skid, your vehicle may jackknife. When any vehicle starts to skid, you must take action to restore traction to the wheels. Now it's time to test your knowledge. I'll ask you a few questions. You should know the answer in your mind, and if you do not, please re-listen to this section 8. Number 1. How are bulkheads different than baffles? 2. Should a tank vehicle take curves, on-ramps, or off-ramps at the posted speed limit? 3. How are smoothbore tankers different to drive than those with baffles? Next. What 3 things determine how much liquid you can load? Next. What is outage? Next. How can you help control surge? Last but not least, what 2 reasons make special care necessary when driving a tank vehicle? Now remember, these questions may be on your DMV test, and if you cannot answer them, please re-listen to this video. We've completed section number 8. In our next video, we'll go to section number 9.